This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Świniaki. Map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub. This is a 4X map, which means it is available for PC only. Map will not be available for console due to it being a 4X map. This is a rather interesting Polish map. The description says there are 6 pre-made places for you to own your own farm, marked by green dots on the minimap, 244 fields including meadows, 4 sell points, multiple selling points for potatoes and sugar beets, a biogas plant, but there is a caveat on that, sawmill, a huge forest, hilly terrain, and missions. Let's go ahead and jump on in. This map is seasons prepared, and the map author suggests that you start this with farm manager mode. We're going to be loading this map up in farm manager mode. We typically do a new farmer mode, but we are going to be doing farm manager because I want to show you some things and the reason why the map author is suggesting farm manager. Pull up our log here. We're going to see a rather interesting warning right here. The sum of vehicle probability attributes should be 1.0. That is a weird, interesting warning. I've never seen that in a map before. Not really sure what that translates to. Here we are, loaded up into the map. Basically our career start point, and I saved the map, exited, and came back in, and this is where I started. So this looks to be also like where you're going to start every time you load in. There are no pre-placed sleep triggers, so you'll be able to place that. I assume once you place that, then you'll load in at that particular sleep trigger. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map, and as the description said, there are a bunch of fields. This is a 4X map, so these fields are bigger than they appear. It is basically the TARDIS type of field. Look at the lands, you can see you have the classic Polish strip farming. For example, this field here is 10 acres in size, $285,000. Field 157 is 22 acres, $624,000. Little strip 20 is 2 acres at $63,000. Meadow 234 is $118,000. Now, there is a viable biogas plant here on the map, but you'll notice there is no icon here. There's no visible triggers at the biogas plant. At this point, I'm going to rule the biogas plant is completely ineffective. It has no operative triggers. It is merely decorative at this point. This map is going to need to be updated if it is supposed to have a working biogas plant. And buy the biogas plant for $446,000. Are some forested areas that you can buy right here. But if you click on this, this is basically typically the unbuyable land that you're buying, and it includes a sizable portion of this forest for no money. So why buy these for money when you can just do this and have the unbuyable areas typically and have a decent bit of forest go along with it. Now let's take a look here at the viable farms located by these green dots. We've got one here north of 187, $115,000. One here including field 101, $325,000. One over here that includes field 82 for $112,000. One right here that includes not really any land, maybe this little strip of grass here, strip of something, $109,000. There's one right down here that includes a little bit of trees, no fields, for $69,000. And if you happen to load this map up on New Farmer, you own this area for $185,000 and field 158, $408,000. Also, if you happen to load this map up on New Farmer, there is a little bit of equipment down here at this area. But I suspect, as the map author suggests, Farm Manager Career Mode is recommended because none of these farms have built out any usable farm buildings. In fact, this one down here is completely just empty. No buildings whatsoever. In New Farmer Mode, you have some equipment lined up, and that is it. All these others have little tricks up their sleeve, which we will show off when we get to them. They do have pre-placed deco buildings, but there is a way to get rid of those. That is pretty cool. The bulk of our sell points are over here by this big forest. Is a pair of sell points down here in the southeast of the map. And there are a few sell points up here in the northwest. The map has all of the standard crops available to us on Farm Sim 19. Take a look here at the sell points. We have 4 main sell points for the bulk of our crops. We also have a unique sell point for potatoes and sugar beets. Spinnery for our cotton and wool. We have 2 sell points for eggs and a single sell point for milk. We do have a sawmill, sell our logs and wood chips, and thank goodness we have a barn sell point, sell silage, hay, straw, and grass, because as I said, biogas plant is effectively useless until it's updated because there are no triggers anywhere associated with the biogas plant. Barn will also accept our pellets if we have straw harvest loaded. Since we are in our farm manager mode, we do not have any vehicles. As I said, if you start with New Farmer mode, you have a small list of starting equipment. But again, it's really not suggested that you start that way, given the prices of the fields and the fact that there are no buildings built out there. It's really best that you start in Farm Manager so you do have that good starting capital. Our contracts available on the map as well. So with that, let's go ahead and kind of get set up for the fly around. We'll fly around the map, do a quick high-level overview of things, go back to the shop, buy our Mahindra, and do the drive around, take a look at all the various farm areas, and so forth. A little bit of altitude. Check out where we are, basically. Here we are just to the side field 69 and 56. Shop is in that direction. So let's just go ahead and kind of fly off here to the north. The map basically has nice rolling fields. I come up here to our first viable farm. Is right here. As I said, if you don't own this, then this is how it looks. None of these buildings are usable. They're all just decoration. But there is a way of getting rid of those buildings, which I think is really a cool idea. So all the SKUPs are for grain selling. So we've got one grain sell point there. This, I believe, is our sugar beet sell point. Going up here to the sawmill. For log and wood chips. Here is another one of the viable farm areas. Again, buildings are there until they're not there. Head this direction, and we have another viable farm area right here. Another viable farm area is right here. We're just going to fly down this way. A little altitude. We've got the meadows here, some grass fields. Follow this river, creek, drainage way, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's not really a river. It's not really a creek. Looks more like a drainage way. I really like the concept of this map. I really wish the biogas plant was working from the start. A really cool map. Seen plenty of Polish maps. I think some folks have commented on being that it'd be interesting to see a 4X Polish map. Well, here we go. Got ourselves a 4X Polish map that also is kind of no man's land-ish in that we can build out our own farm areas. So this is the area that you own at the very start if you have new farmer. There's some basic starting equipment that starts right here, but you can see there's no buildings. Even if you load this up in new farmer mode, you're going to have to be placing your own buildings. Just 100 grand in the bank. There really isn't a lot of money there to be buying and putting down buildings. So that's where the 1.25 million and farm manager mode really comes into play. Head on down this way, we'll be able to meet up with the road and then duck in here to do sell points down here in the southeast, located at this facility. Now, while it is a 4X map, because you can see down in the lower right in the mini map, our coordinates are 3600 by 3100. Okay, that tells us that we are working with 4X map terrain because the standard size map doesn't get any bigger than 2048 by 2048 in the southeast corner. Since our coordinates are greater than 2048, then clearly we are working on a 4X area. But the map doesn't fill up the entire 4X area. It probably fills up about maybe half of a 4X area, if that's even possible. I don't know, maybe third, no, a little more than a third. I don't know, somewhere between a third and a half. Fairly big slice in the southwest and northeast that are outside playing boundaries. Coming over here, we've got another green sell point. Our spinnery is just past that. Here is that big forest that has some buyable areas and then a huge chunk of unbuyable, or well, buy it for zero cost, basically. Coming up here to the potato sell point. Here, these red buildings are the lime station. Lime station has something interesting going on with it. I actually had to pull this up into Giant's editor to figure out what the heck was going on. Because typically when I do my reconnaissance, I will often deploy my F5 capability. And I saw these. These are kind of shaped like jump triggers, but they're vertical. I didn't really understand what the heck was going on there. That was rather interesting, and I was so enamored with what that was, I didn't notice that there is a little trigger here, which looks to be where you buy the lime at. What those other things were, well, I really don't know. Another sell point over here. This is our milk sell point, I believe. We have a seed buy point right here at this silo. We have our barn sell point right here. Our animal dealer. Get what this one is. Up. One of our egg sell points. Fuel. There, and then our shop. I'm going to jump over here to biogas plant, which is inside this wooded area here. I want to show you what I mean by this area having 0 triggers. It is buyable, and you can buy this for a small change of $446,000. At this point, it's completely useless. This is why. We've got our triggers up. I've got F1 pulled up. There's no silage bunker trigger. Silage bunkers are useless. Reason why I always go into silage bunkers when we do our map tours. There is no visual trigger here at the digester. And there is no visual trigger here at the digestate point. Pretty much no visual triggers anywhere here at the BGA. I want to appreciate the map author for giving me a very easy floater to find. Thank you very much. We really don't have to look too much harder for that one. Fly back over here to shop to get on with our ground tour. We have our maintenance, buy, sell, and repair trigger right here to the left of the icon. That is really interesting door texture. At the least, that is like a textured, stone textured rolling door. Very interesting. And on the front door there. Huh. And then inside here we have our shop trigger. If you're one of the players that likes to use shop triggers, here you go. And you can see then where the vehicle spawn point is. Alright, let's head on over here and we'll check out all the sell points in town here. Start with the fuel station. That is some expensive fuel. $4.83. Oh my goodness. Okay. Drop the S and call it the Shell station without the S. On around. Got one of our grain sell points here. No, this is the, sorry, this is not the grain sell point. This is a grain sell point. Go with what you say. Don't doubt yourself. All right, here we have the dump station. Or SK up 4. Up 4. We'll call it. Oh, the great levitating car. Here we have our animal dealer. So again, this map has no pre-built farms whatsoever, which means there are no animal areas whatsoever. This is build this out to your heart's content. We didn't really look at starting equipment because there aren't any, unless you do New Farmer. And again, New Farmer is not the suggested method to start. There are also no pre-built mods in Placeables area, other than what you would be activating on your own. Also see there's no even farmhouse here. That's kind of an interesting deal. Egg sell point right there in front of us. Head over here to the barn sell point. Again, silage, hay, straw, and grass. I mean, right here. Buy bulk seed right next door. And this silo. I'll show you the trigger that I'm looking for at the biogas plant is a tall rectangle like that, except it's very, very tight size, very, very small, almost a straw-shaped rectangle. Here we have the milk sell point. And our lime sell point, a little bit of a confusing area. What it looks like is this is where you're going to buy your lime, by these silos here. Did I miss the entrance? Here we have our potato sell point. And this is where we're going to dump our potatoes. Bulk of this forest to our left is, again, you can buy it for 0 money. Really a profitable option there. Here we have our spinnery, and we want to drop off our wool and cotton around back. So there aren't any real markers on these areas. We have another grain sell point right here. And now let's see here. Let's take a look at the map, and let's make our way to the north and check out got that same interesting texture going on here. on the roof. Not sure about that. So now let's head up here and we'll start checking out some of these pre-built farms. Well, let's... We're gonna have to double back. Run across this way. Get to these two sell points. Looking around at the distant scenery and how the map looks across the distance. There is traffic on the map, but I don't think it seems to not that dense, and it doesn't seem to be on all the roads. When I get down here, I want to see if this forest over here is viable or not, or if it's part of that buy for $0. There are two sell points here, one for eggs and one for grain. So we have our grain sell point right here. And then around the other side, well, there's two areas. This area here, which is going to be for a transport mission, and this area here at the kind of the dock rolling gates is for your eggs. Check this out. Yep, this forest is part of the buy anything, maybe outside of the road here. There may be a map boundary wall basically preventing us from getting to most of this. This road here should be able to get to this part. We've already talked about the starting farm there in new farmer mode at 158. Demonstrated that. There are no buildings there already. Let's check. Looked already, but let's check again as we drive past it. See if there is a marker to put buildings there. So as I alluded to, this map has the ability to basically get rid of the deco buildings at these viable farms. If you buy the area, you can get rid of the deco buildings. But if you don't own the area, deco buildings remain to provide their decorative purpose. What I'm looking for is the trigger marker to put a building back here. Not seeing it. So it looks like that area will remain undeveloped even, if you would want it to be decorative. It's going to be undeveloped. So when I first saw these other viable farms had non-usable decorative buildings, I was a little frustrated. Then I saw a marker kind of at the corner of the property and it basically said open gate. So I clicked it, and the buildings vanished in front of my eyes, and I was like, oh, they are usable. I was basically going to say that viable land, half of it was being taken up by unusable buildings. Since we can get rid of them, well, then we can make full use of the property. You can imagine it and think about it with the respect of you're buying a property that was previously developed, and well, you're making the decision to just tear everything down so you can build it all back yourself. Go ahead and check out the one here that is just north of field 45. Then I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, right here, we've got a little dollar sign. Come up here and we click open gate. Boom, it's gone. This is one of the viable farms. Now, when we do that, dollar sign goes away, but the trigger is still there if you come over here and find it. Hit it and put it all back. That little trick is going to be at all of the other viable areas of the other 5 viable farms. See, if you don't get rid of it, got a house here that is the house. Have some buildings here that are all just meant to be run down. They don't have any door triggers that you can open. This particular land has some trees that you can cut down also to give yourself a little bit more space. But I like this. I like this a lot. I want to buy this and make use of it. So I just click and there it goes. Trees are still there. Like to keep the trees or get rid of them yourself. But yeah, the buildings are gone. Nice concept. Head up and check out the next viable farm, which is kind of tucked between fields 108 and 114. Whoops, we're going the wrong way. Whoa! Incredible self-righting Mahindra. Nice map boundary when you can run right into it and not realize it. On the road here. This is pretty cool. A little lane back to this farm. There we've got our little trigger icon. Click it. Oof, everything goes away. Back. Make it gone. Obviously, once we do this, we can landscape this to our heart's content. interesting trade-off between having it buyable and just being vacant, or buyable and having the buildings permanently embedded in the map, that when you buy it and you get what you get. Then you can have it buyable and all the buildings are sellable. We've seen that on maps before. It's an interesting hybrid approach where you can buy it and clear the area. You don't get any money for it. Buildings you can't keep and make use of, really just in your way. And make better use of the land. Here we have the field of the farm just north of the 101. And you'll notice that this area over here doesn't go away. Your farm is only this little strip and this field behind it. Let's head on over here to the next viable area. Then we'll double back to the sawmill and then the last two sell points. Turn on into this tree-lined lane. Now you see it. Now you don't. So sound off in the comments. What do y'all think of this concept of having the buildings there? They're not usable, but if you want, you can just click and make them go away. I did test it. I made the buildings vanish, saved the game, and came back in. They were still gone. Worried that maybe they would reappear. And if they reappeared, that would not be a good thing. Heading up across the northern edge of the map. Map boundary is pretty well hidden there between the tree line. You have normal altitude on a mod. Probably can't get too much higher than this. See that? You're out here at the map boundary. You got 2D photos. I've reconfigured this to allow a pretty extensive zoom out. We have our last viable farm here, just north of 187. Farmland. Sawmill, we have our log sell point right here, and our wood chip at the wood chip pile. Just going to cheat across these potato field. Now the question on everyone's minds is probably, will this map work with precision farming that's coming out next week? Well, probably yes. Is it customized? Probably no, because Giants has not released to this point information on how to add the soil layer to maps. So even though this map is coming out right on the heels, Precision Farming is coming out right on the heels of this map being released this week. It does not have, to the best of my knowledge, and I don't really see how it would, a custom soil layer. We've got a grain cell point. But that word I'm getting, that doesn't mean you can't play this map with Precision Farming or any other map with Precision Farming for that stance. It will basically get a generic soil layer if none exists, and in the Precision Farming add-on there's supposed to be documentation within the add-on for map authors on how to add the soil layer to their maps. Final cell point that we're going to take a look at today, and it is the sugar beet cell point. And the trigger for sugar beets is right in this general area. So guys, that is it. That is the map for today. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the map? Hopefully the map does get updated so that you have a functioning biogas plant, because at this point it does not appear that the biogas plant is going to function. Until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.